some GM, GM, and Happy New Year. It's got to be New Year for everybody now, right? Yeah. So welcome to 2024, the biggest year of your life, the biggest opportunity of your life, and the year that you have to really give full focus to. Right? There's no room for complacency this year. You have to have a plan, and you have to stick to the plan. And it doesn't even have to be that you're fully fucking all eggs in one basket, all about crypto, just crypto. But you should be, if that is your game, right? If you're in crypto for the bull run, you need to have maximum focus for you. I think this is the key difference. Maximum focus for you is what's important. So I'm fortunate enough to be able to spend all day doing it because it's my full-time job is what I do. Trade, I do the real world. If you don't, that's fine. There are many, many, many people who have made many millions of dollars from being a passive investor in crypto because they have a job, they have business, they have whatever, but they have some decent capital to start with and they invest with a longer term view and they ride through the volatility and then they get out at roughly the right time, not at the top, but close. And they realize exponential gains. Now that depends on where you're starting from. You're starting from 5K, it's totally different if you're starting with 50K. But every single person here can finish the year with a lot more money than they started it with the right plan. And that is your focus. Your focus is just to maximize your opportunity. And that'll come down to, like everything, solid plans, right? Without a plan, you have nothing. And your plan does not have to be complex. And your plan should not just be, I'm going to stare at charts for a year. Again, if you have less capital, you can make money much faster through work than you can through the market. Because the best way to make money in the market is to get in and ride multi-week or multi-month trends, right? Obviously, you want to be getting in here and getting out somewhere up there. Yeah. So all you have to do is get in and then do nothing. So what do you do in the meantime? Do you stare at charts? Do you overanalyze things? Do you look and think, yeah, I need to scalp in and out and this and that? No, because even if you just go and work in a factory or get a overtime at your current job or work on weekends or work nights or whatever, that's the kind of hard work sacrifice that's needed this year. That can also be working your day job and then hustling with one of the cash flow skills in the campuses: copywriting, e-com, content creation, freelancing, sales, business mastery, social media. Anything you can do to bring in extra capital that you can then put into the market along with your current capital. And so if that's your view, if you just say, okay, this year is the year that can set me up for life, doesn't mean you're going to make retirement money. But if you increase and multiply your capital by any factor, 2, 5, 10, who knows, that is an outsized opportunity that doesn't come along very often. You put it another way, it doesn't matter how much money you put in January 18 until February 2021, you would end up flat. That's 3 years. If you invested money here, it would not have returned a profit until here. It does not matter how hard you worked or how much money you DCA'd every month. And even if you did DCA, you probably would have got your average entry in across those 3 years, probably got it to around there, to which point you're starting to be in profit in January 2021. That's not to say that DCAing is bad necessarily. It's better than some things. But we're not there now. We're here. We're on the early right side of the V to where we're coming out of the bear, going towards the bull. And I know it seems like and it feels like it's all going to get away from you, and maybe you feel like you don't have enough time. I want to just remind you, you have the same amount of time as everyone else. You can't go back in time. We would all love to go back in time and buy 1,000 BTC back in 2013 or 2012. Who wouldn't love that? But you don't live life for what ifs or what could I have done, or if I had done this. So you're playing with the hand you're dealt, which is right now, and the best thing you can do is buy crypto yesterday, a week ago, a month ago, a year ago. The second best thing you can do is plan for now. So I want you to take whatever you have currently as your portfolio and then make a commitment to yourself and draw a plan up for 2024 of how you're going to make more money in the real world and in the real world, both ways. How are you going to make more money, which is probably going to be from outside of crypto, that you can then put in using the trading principles, using your research, and then break it down. So what you have to break down is what's important to me. You have to think, so the way to be successful is to break stuff down into first principles. And what the first principles are in crypto is very simple, right? It's supply and demand and a market cycle. The market cycle is driven by global liquidity, driven by the adoption of Bitcoin, and then the wealth effect of Bitcoin, which flows down through the ecosystem and creates a positive reflexive loop, meaning we go up. Therefore, people have more money. Therefore, they feel better. They're more optimistic. They're more hopeful. Therefore, they invest more. They invest into businesses. They, will put money towards companies, new projects that are launching, who can then take that money and build something, which can add value to someone else, which then it's a positive feedback loop. And that's what we do for about 12 to 18 months. Then the scammers and grifters and pump and dumps and frauds come along en masse and launch bullshit after bullshit whenever retail are here, and it's all euphoric and hype. And that's when everything gets over leveraged. That's when everything gets over frothy. And that's when inevitably it all collapses. It takes a long time for leverage to build up in a system. Leverage is not perpetual futures open interest, right? That's not leverage. That is a form of leverage, but that's not system leverage. That's just short-term people getting overly long in one direction, obviously long, overly exposed in one direction, which is long, and then they get flushed out. When you see these dips, which there's going to be, 20% correction, 10% candle down, and you see a bunch of liquidations, and you're like, oh, leverage is being shaken out. That's not system leverage, though. There's systemic leverage, and it builds up slowly through debt of all forms. Unless you see Bitcoin going down 55% in a couple of weeks, then leverage has not been completely flushed from the system, right? Because leverage, again, your 100x, 75, 50, 25, that is easy to shake out, and it gets shaken out periodically. The leverage that ends up causing the bear markets is the 1x, 2x, right? Where someone's just doubling or tripling. They're taking their 1 BTC and they're using it to long equivalent amount of ETH. right? They're like, yeah, I've got 100 grand of Bitcoin, real Bitcoin. I actually own it. I'm going to deposit this into Aave. I'm going to borrow against it 70%. You can't borrow